today.
Martin Luther King Jr. and Martin Luther, Protestant reformer and social activist reformer. Two Martin Luthers. One was ecclesiastical constitutional reform because he changed the way things, the Catholic Church said buy statues, indulges his constitutional reform in the church. That was Martin Luther. But Martin Luther King Jr. was social reform. You know what these two people have in common? They're both ministers. One is called by God to address social reform, and the other is called to address ecclesiastical adjustments in the way the church carried out what they did. Martin Luther said by faith, and Martin Luther King Jr. said by faith we will see a day. And this is where I want to get to this part, because I've got a copy of his speech. And I want to show you something. What if the original narrative that God gave Martin Luther King Jr. has been hijacked? What if the adversary has interpolated and injected a false narrative to what Martin Luther King Jr. actually stood for? So I want to read from what he said. This is actually a copy of his I Have a Dream speech. He said, "We must forever conduct our struggle on the high plane of dignity and discipline. We must not allow our creative protests to degenerate into physical violence." Come on, going back to Ferguson. We must not allow our creative protests to degenerate into physical violence. The marvelous new militancy which has engulfed the Negro community must not lead us to distrust all white people. For many of our white brothers, as evidenced by their presence here today, have come to realize that their destiny is tied up with our destiny. When did the narrative get changed to all white people? Then he said, "I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream." And that's where we stop. But I want to read the rest of what he said. He said, "I have a dream that one day in Alabama, with its vicious racists, its governor having his lips dripped with the words of interposition and nullification, one day right there in Alabama, that little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls and sisters and brothers. I have a dream today." His dream was not that we would create a black society. His dream was not that we would have financial streams that are only for black people, financial streams that nullify, because then we would be doing reverse racism that's still racism. He had a dream that you can create equality, but we must all work together to eliminate the disparity. That was the true dream. He knew that in order to get to the top God's way, this man of God was not allowed to have bitterness in his heart. He was not allowed to carry racism. He was not allowed to foment and threaten cities with attack. He was not allowed. And as a servant of the Lord Jesus Christ, we bear the fuse of the gospel of peace. You go on social media and everybody is fomenting war and hating white people, and everybody's a racist, and they take any little thing and make it racist. I refuse to believe that narrative. I believe that the answer is white and black and every nationality working together under the banner of the Lord Jesus Christ, under the banner of a constitution that represents all men. That is what we stand for, that is what we believe, and that is what Jesus has called us to advocate. Well, come on, somebody, give God a real praise. The narrative of the church is love one another as I have loved you. By this all men will know that you are my disciples, that you have love one for another. Not by how many racist posts you can put,